I started to work in film in a collective with Derek Jarman 40 years ago. 1985, we made Caravaggio. And I've never stopped working in a collective way. That is the answer. That keeps me going always through all the ups and downs, all the thicks and thins, which are usually to do with raising money for our projects. Those are the thickest bits, or rather the thinnest bits. But I learned early that to work collectively suits me. I believe it might suit more people than me, and I recommend it highly, especially for young artists starting out. I really recommend that they find their community and stick with it, because it's within that community that they might find themselves able to be the most relaxed, the most trusting, the most faithful, the most adventurous, and have the most fun. And those are the reasons to make films, in my view. It's possible in that kind of environment to be authentic and to say difficult things and approach difficult things because you are in the security of, a family. It's an oft-used word, but I really think we all know that it's possible to choose a family, a tribe, and work best within it. So I think that's what keeps me going. That's, I would call, my drug of choice. I think beyond that, and this may feel like a stretch, but I honestly believe we have to do this now. We have to believe in the humanity of people, even outside of our tribe. Because if we don't, if we give up, then really all is lost. So even when it feels like the lines are drawn and there is a benign and a malign camp, we have to believe that it's possible to reach and affect and change and transform the minds and hearts of people on the other side of the line. We have to believe that, because otherwise we become entrenched. So that's a huge stretch. It's something that we all struggle with to keep this faith. But I think the people that I'm talking to will know what I mean by this. We cannot give up on reaching the people we think are unreachable. I immediately think of my beginning, and that means of Derek Jarman. I think I learned more from him, not just because I was a young person, but because he was, in a way, a great teacher. I think all of us who worked with him, who were young, and many of us were very young, who worked with him, learned everything that we have been able to learn, really, there in our kind of kindergarten years. And so what particularly did he teach me? Well, I once said flippantly, but I realize it was really true, hold your own light and, literally hold your own light and be prepared not to sleep. That was very good advice, and that stood me in very good stead. Some filmmakers I work with don't ask me to hold my own light, but I'm ready, always ready to hold my own light, and sometimes to hold the camera as well. That feeling of self-determination is what he taught us. Look after your own work and bring it to the party. He taught us how to be filmmakers. I think that's what I would say, encourage young filmmakers of any description to know that we are all filmmakers. People holding the boom, that's a filmmaker. A script supervisor is a filmmaker. A performer is a filmmaker. Actually, even someone in the craft services is actually making a film, and we are dependent on them to keep us nourished. This is really, I think, something that we learned and is a very, very important thing to remember, because it keeps you webbed together. it's because of this festival. Now, you know, if we're going to play a hypothetical game, you could imagine me maybe going to any other film festival first. It probably would have made a huge effect. But there is an internationalist core in this film festival. There's something so crucially internationalist about the spirit of this film festival. Maybe it has something to do with it, the first remit when it was set up in 1951, to be about communication, to be about understanding between people. I don't know, but it has at its heart this sort of incredibly open, it's like a fan, it just opens the world. It feels to me as if it's part of its endeavor to just open eyes. And yeah, it really gave me, as I made clear last night, you know, my life's work. And so it means an enormous amount. It's like, you know, it's no secret that I wasn't very happy at school, but this was my school. So it's like your school giving you a very beautiful golden bear and saying, keep going. It's a lovely thing. What's a Tilda Swinton film?
Yeah, is there's any, I don't know, maybe
one with me in it, I don't know. I can't think of what might link Bella Tarr and Wes Anderson and Jim Jarmusch and Sally Potter and Joanna Hogg and Luca Guadagnino and Pedro Almodovar and all the others, my friends, amazing. I mean, it's such a mystery to me. You know, the thing that's so extraordinary is most of these filmmakers, I always, as you may know, choose people first. I've been working with people whose work I know very well and I revere. And so when I work with Pedro Almodovar and I have pored over every frame of his work, and then he invites me into his world, when Bella Tarr is shooting and asks me to look in the monitor, and I'm looking at a Bella Tarr frame, and then I walk into the frame, it's insane. Because I know those frames, and I love them so much, and it is very odd to see myself in them, as odd for me as for anybody else. So the thing that links me with all of these people is that they all want to have the conversation. They want to work out of a communicative atmosphere. I mean, it's funny because someone asked me recently, you know, what would you have done if you hadn't met Derek Jarman? And, you know, what work would you have done? And I thought about it seriously because I wanted to give an honest answer because I'm not a good liar. And I thought, there's only two things that were in my mind. One was to be, maybe work as an apprentice to a trainer of racehorses, or to be a writer about film. And I have so much respect for film writing, and we need it as filmmakers and as film audience. We need intelligent and responsive and educated film writing. We need film writers to know the archive. We need people to understand movements in filmmaking. And I'm really invested in filmmakers and film writers being able to have a clear communication. So connection, that's what I'm in it for, and that's what I get from it.